Hello everybody, this is Josh here and welcome back to Buried. This is chapter 4, we'll jump right into it. So, the ride up the elevator is tense. I take a series of deep breaths, doing everything I can to stay in control. Amy has gotten back to her feet, but her head is pressed against the elevator wall as she suppresses a series of sobs. I find myself trying to remember the way those creatures looked, but my mind seems to shudder at the effort. I have seen something that is impossibility, a mockery of what I know is real. This fills me with a terror that dwarfs anything else I have felt since discovering the facility. I try to focus my mind on something else and remember Marcus's threats. I wonder if we'll see Marcus again, I say, mostly to myself. Do you think Marcus got away from those things? Amy asks. I sort of hope not, honestly. He's gonna kill us. Me too, she says, looking at the ground, her arms folded. So, how did you end up here? She gives a nervous chuckle and shrugs. I used to work at the Pentagon. It was some pretty upper echelon stuff that I still can't discuss. I assume this place is even more upper echelon, I said. This place isn't even on the scale. My other job was a cakewalk compared to this. That sounds really delicious, a cakewalk. Then why stay, I ask. Because the money is ridiculous. I have a 13-year-old daughter already talking about Harvard. You do the math. Any other kids? No, just the one. Her dad split on us when she was 3. I never remarried, so no siblings for her. Well, that sucks. I may have only gotten one, but the one I got is amazing. Amy pauses before continuing softly. What if I never see... Her voice breaks off, the words too terrible to say. Her eyes fill with tears. The elevator comes to a stop, the slight ding of it interrupting the moment. Amy hastily wipes her eyes, and we waste no time in getting back inside the command center. Alright, let's get in. Watch, there's gonna be monsters up here too. They're gonna be up here. What do you want to bet? I ready the rifle, suddenly certain that there are more of those creatures waiting for us in the hallway of the second level. Yeah, probably. But the way is clear, allowing us to haul ass to the command center. Once again, I find myself staring at the screen that shows my ruined worksite. Okay, Amy says, typing commands rapidly. It can't be that hard. I keep peeking over my shoulder, my senses feeling as if the monsters are sneaking up on us, mere inches away. I then think of Dennis and wonder how he's faring back on level 3. Is he safe? I look back to the screen and see that Amy has finally found what she's looking for. A prompt on the screen says, Override of hangar doors and all level 3 locks requires clearance code. Amy types in a number with shaking fingers and the screen goes black for a moment. The moment the words override confirmed come up on the screen, Amy jumps up from the chair and heads out of the room. We have to be quick, she says. We have exactly 20 minutes to open those hangar doors. What happens in 20 minutes? The locks will kick in again, she says. Security measure. I couldn't do anything about it. I follow her out of the command center and bound back down the hallway towards the same elevator that brought us here. Amy punches the elevator button and the doors slide open. We're taking this same elevator back to the biochem room, I ask. Those creatures are still down there. It's the only way back down, she says. The other way is blocked by those hydraulic doors we pulled. Hopefully the creatures left. Hopefully. Neither of us say anything else as we share a look of immense dread. We step back into the elevator and head back down to the biochem room on level 3. There's gonna be monsters waiting for us. Or Dennis. As the elevator doors open, we peer out, looking to see if the creatures are still in the area. But it's all clear. That's good. When Amy looks to me, her eyes are clear and strong. Marcus wasn't entirely wrong, Amy says as we start walking back towards the hangar doors. About what? I ask. About how I am partially to blame for this. Yeah, why would she be to blame? She's not the boss, she's just following orders. Some of the things we do here, it's scary. We should have known that one day something like this would happen. Everyone here with knowledge of what goes on in level 3 is to blame, she says. It's a highly advanced research facility, I say. Doing amazing, but risky stuff. So yeah, you're partially to blame by just working here, but I can understand the dedication. So why don't you tell me a bit more about what does go on in Level 3? Are you familiar with the Large Hadron Collider over in Switzerland? I've heard the phrase, but that's about it, I say. It's a powerful particle accelerator, she explains. Right now they're using it to try and create what's called dark matter. Ooh, I did a presentation over dark matter in middle school for English class. Pretty interesting stuff. It's theorized that this dark matter actually makes up the majority of the universe, but parts of the universe are very different from ours. My guess is the people at the LHC will probably create their first dark matter particle in about 2018 or 2019. Here in this facility, we were able to create one almost 10 years ago. It was the key to our research. Does this have something to do with those things? Because I know what that matter does. Well, we still don't know all there is about dark matter, or other matter we have yet to identify. These creatures could be made of it, or maybe there's some even more exotic matter. We just don't know. If dark matter is responsible, there are no real answers to have. I scratch my head. So you're saying this dark matter helps with what? Opening up other dimensions or something? That's the theory. During the point-to-point transfer, the subjects are gone for about 3 to 6 seconds. There's no way to see or measure their presence, but they exist somewhere. From what we can tell, they exist in a kind of void. Okay, we shouldn't be standing around in this area. We should get back to Dennis. But, have you done this with people? We have sent human subjects through. Almost all of them have returned successfully. I make an involuntary grimace. Why do I feel like none of them made it through and she's just lying? Almost? There was one man, Dr. Canna, who didn't return. We don't know where. She chose off, taking a moment to collect herself. Sorry I asked, I say, feeling my mind start to bend inward again. As we continue to walk between the silos, we walk past the area where we left Marcus behind. But he's long gone. Maybe found a way out. I realize that we were walking very close together between the silos, perhaps trying to create the illusion of safety. We reach the exit connecting to the hangar doors where Dennis hopefully still is. My guts clench and my heart hammers in my chest as we open the door and walk through. I lift the rifle, but at first it seems like there's nothing waiting for us. And that's when I see the glowing, hulking shape to my left, closing in fast. Oh shit. This is good at cliffhangers, guys. Fuck. The creature's about 10 feet away and coming in quickly, so I do the first thing that comes to mind. I drop to the ground, making myself a smaller target, and raise the rifle. I'm not sure if I should just unload on the bastard or try to be choosy with my shots and weaken it, or at least slow it down. Shoot to weaken. You want to save some of your shots, man. My shot causes the entire milky white frame to jerk to the floor. It flounders, its ghost-like tentacles writhing with rage as it cries out at me. It seems to turn and jerk away, parts of it appearing and disappearing every few feet. It moves down the hall and out of sight. I look quickly around for others, but there's only Amy. She looks at where the monster went with wide eyes. Her face is pale, and I wonder if, like me, she's able to feel her mind trying to retreat. Come on, I say. Let's find Dennis, and get through these hangar doors. Amy glances at her watch and nods. We're already down to 6 minutes. Well, you wouldn't be down to 6 minutes if you weren't talking. Oh, God. We turn towards the hangar doors, and I'm a little disgusted with myself because the bloody scene that so shocked me before now seems mild. Amy goes to work on the computer console on the side of the doors. She starts punching in keys before saying, "This is going to take some time." "I thought you already unlocked it," I ask. "I did," she says, but for this door, there's still security permissions I need to hack. Marcus would have known how to do this." She trails off and I decide to let her work. Suddenly something slams into me. I feel my feet leave the floor, and I'm literally thrown across this concrete. I look up in time to see one of the creatures. It's apparently in no hurry to attack me again, focusing on Amy instead. She's not armed. I need to come up with a plan to get this thing away from her so she can focus on getting the door open. It raises one of its flickering appendages, making me certain that part of its makeup is pure light and energy. I could easily take a shot with my rifle, but my mind again goes to how much remaining ammo I have. The only other thing I can think of is to get it to chase me and lead it away from this room, somehow. Distract the monster and run, duh. You can save your ammo, dude. Hey, I yell. Right here! Come get me! I'm the one that shot your buddy! It turns to me, and I'm again faced with staring at something that has no business in this world. In this reality. Its body gives me a sort of glow around the central part, a bulbous core that is branched off into two humps, very much like a spider. Again, I sense that this visual formation is not accurate, but it's the best my simple mind can do to make sense of this impossible creature. It starts lurching towards me and lets out a shriek of agony that makes my ears feel like they'll explode. Now that I'm sure it's coming after me, I take off running and head into another hallway we haven't been down. I find myself in an industrial-looking area and am pleased to find that the monster has followed me through. Is there going to be a chase sequence? Please tell me there is. That'd be awesome. I doubt it. The room seems to be an assortment of old pipes and tanks. I assume some of them run further down into other areas of the facility. With the creature on my tail, I dash into the maze of metal, hoping to lose it. It's definitely having a harder time squeezing through than I am, and that slows it down. Fat ass. Of course the room's not a cage of any kind. The thing is still heading towards me, shredding through the pipes as it rages. I notice that sometimes it is breaking steel girders, but other times it seems like it's somehow merging or changing them. Pipes that were separate are now connected together in a way that makes my head hurt. I finally get a good amount of distance between myself and the creature. I think it's lost my trail. I need to get back to those hangar doors. There's not much time before they close shut. But if I make a sound, that creature could be on my heels again. Run as fast as you can. We need to get through the door. There's no time, I think to myself. I have to get moving. With no care of staying silent, I twist myself through some more pipes and make my way back towards the door I entered through. Immediately, the creature picks up on this and turns towards me. But I don't even look back. I slide through this rusted obstacle course and sprint back to the hangar doors. He's coming back. They better be open, I swear. They're not. Of course they're not. Watch, Amy's not going to be there anymore, is she? I burst back into the large room and see Amy still working on the computer terminal by the hangar doors. You okay? I ask Amy. I can clearly see her battling for control of her faculties. Still, determination wins out, and she gives a grim nod. Any sign of where Dennis went? I ask, hoping she hasn't noticed his body somewhere. No, she replies. It's then that I realize that I have no idea how many rounds I have remaining in the rifle. This isn't a model I'm familiar with, outside of deer hunting. I'm not much of an expert in firearms. Neither am I, buddy. Still, I am able to locate the chamber easily and see that there are 4 rounds left. Not great, but it could be worse. How are we on time? I ask her. 4 minutes. I'm going as fast as I can. I was worried how long it would take you to lose that thing. I didn't lose the thing. Fuck. Well, I decided it was better to get back quickly than to. At that moment, the creature screams on the other side of the door. He'll be here in any second. Amy does her best to focus on the keyboard, but there's still no sign of Dennis. Before I have time to look around, a screeching sound erupts from the other end of the room. I bring the rifle up in a shooter's stance to turn around. With the hangar doors right behind me, no signs of Dennis, and a closing window of time, I have to be confident. Yet when 2 monsters come around the corner, my body wants to shut down. The appendages seem to jump in time and space, reaching out for a split second, independent of the body, and then disappearing back to where they came from. It turns and screeches at me, its glowing tentacles snaking out of its body. My knees tremble uncontrollably. Behind me, Amy shrieks. I feel myself losing control, my mind sliding into the abyss of insanity. I pull myself back from the brink. I've got to stay in control. Shoot them! Don't turn away, they'll freaking get you! What would turning away even do? Get you killed. I step away from Amy in the hangar doors and towards the monster, ready to defend her. I ready my rifle, but the creature wastes no time. It makes that jerky motion towards me, and there's a sharp pain in my chest as it collides with me. Fuck. Or through me, it's hard to tell. My instinct is to try to grapple or hold this thing down, but then I realize I don't even know if that will work. Try to get away. Don't grab the creature. Don't freaking molest that creature. I don't know. I figure I'd rather not try to learn more about the physical nature of this thing right now. I tuck and roll away from it and stand up to face it. With a scream of defiance, I raise the rifle and put it around in its core. The shot lands dead center and the light inside of it flickers almost violently. It falls back against the wall, issuing a hiss of its telltale static noise. It then jerks away and retreats, at least for now. Another terror appears as if out of nowhere, screaming at me with its high-pitched whine. It bounds forward, charging in its strange, spastic way. I aim the rifle, intending to take this one in the core too. I take several shots, but it's still coming at me. As it slams into me, I realize that I only have one bullet left. In contact, the wind is knocked out of my lungs, and the back of my head strikes the floor. But neither of these things is as alarming as the fact that the beast is on top of me. Its exterior is like a seashell that has been pounded by the surf for so long that it has lost all edges and ridges. But the grip it tries to capture me with is pure violence. I feel those life-soaked appendages starting to wrap around me. I raise the rifle, knowing I still have one shot left. The weight of the monster is erratic. One moment I feel weightless, another I feel like I'm going to be crushed. I push upwards with the rifle to aim, but it is overpowering me. I'm not sure I'd be able to get an effective shot off. I see the core of its body, a spider-like shape, connected to the rest of it by thin white strings of tissue. I know I'll be dead within seconds unless I can manage a shot, but I don't know where to aim. This thing has already survived for so long. Shoot for the tentacles. Fuck. I'm gonna shoot for the tentacles, guys. I'm probably gonna get killed. The creature's seconds away from tearing into my shoulder. I have to stop it now. I grunt as I try to angle the rifle in the direction of the beast's formless limbs. The appendages begin tugging down on the barrel, and it's at that moment that I pull the trigger, unleashing my final shot. The shot aggravates it enough to win me some breathing room. I've saved my shoulder, but this thing's still alive and kicking. Thank God I saved this bullet earlier. Fuck yeah. But then I see the creature extend its tentacles into a violent whip-like motion, scampering away while making that static screeching sound. The creature disappears into thin air and reappears a few feet from me, retreating. With a shudder and a cry of desperation, I get to my feet just in time to see the monster head in the direction of the biochem room. They love that biochem room, I swear. Amy looks over at me from her terminal at the hangar doors, looking petrified. I manage to help myself up when I see another figure nearing us. But to my relief, I realize it's a human figure, Dennis, with a gun. Fuck yeah, Dennis is still alive, guys. I don't want him to die, he's my favorite. You okay, boss? Yes, but his eyes aren't on me. They are looking to the creature, trying to understand exactly what he has just seen. About 15 minutes ago, I heard the door to the maintenance room unlock, Dennis says, pointing to the room I tried to bust my way into earlier. Ah, Amy says. When I did the override up at the command center, I unlocked all small doors down here, including the maintenance room. I went inside there and hid, Dennis continues, and while I was waiting for you to come back, I found a massive trunk. There are a few guns in it, so I grabbed this one, he says, patting the shotgun. I'm glad you're safe, Dennis. I love you, Dennis. Bros for life. Thanks, boss, he says. Me too. She doesn't break eye contact with the panel. Almost done, she replies. Suddenly, without warning, a shot ricochets off the wall behind Amy's head. Marcus? Startled, we look around confused. Did Dennis' gun go off? When another shot blasts near us again, we all drop to the floor. I look around, wondering who or what could possibly be shooting at us. Those creatures don't do anything that sounds remotely like gunfire. And then I see him. Marcus. I should have killed him when I had the chance. Yeah, I should have. Fuck. He has a rifle and is walking toward us, an insane look in his eyes. You all deserve to die! He screams, unleashing another round that I hear whiz by my head. He has bad aim. Damn. Dennis doesn't hesitate. He stands up and shoots at Marcus, causing him to retreat. Open that damn door. Come on, Amy. I'm sorry, I'm doing my best, she says, fighting through tears. She makes a few final key presses and says, Done! The doors open with the noise of hydraulics and a whoosh of air. With Marcus pinned down by Dennis' gunfire, we start moving towards the doors. At that moment, another creature jerks into existence around the corner, between us and Marcus. Shit! Marcus says and starts unloading into it. But then he learns the same lesson we did. This only slows the creature down. Marcus gives us one last look, and then turns and runs off into another direction. Dennis, Amy, and I climb up and head through the doors, moving on nothing more than adrenaline. I see her look longingly at the maintenance room Dennis took the shotgun from. You get into the hangar, Dennis says. I'll get some more firepower. Satisfied with the plan, Amy heads through the door. We scramble inside, finally inside the hangar. Dennis approaches from behind, holding several guns and looking like a kid who grabbed an armful of Halloween candy. Amy reaches out for a 9mm with one hand. Dennis turns to me and holds out a shotgun and a handgun for me to choose. Both look deadly. The shotgun looks more powerful, but the handgun will probably be more precise. I'm gonna take the handgun. I select the handgun and am comforted by the way it seems to fit perfectly in my shaky grip. There are more creatures coming, as many as a dozen. They're floating down the hall quickly, their tentacles slithering. The way their light seems to mingle together is almost beautiful. "Close the door!" I yell at Amy. God, that sounds so angry. She dashes to another terminal mounted on the inside of the hangar door and tries desperately to close them. "It's not working," she says with tears in her eyes. "This terminal is disabled." Dennis looks through the open doors, readying himself to shoot the first monster that nears us. Should we try to slow a few down or just run for it? He asked, gun at the ready. I think we should run for it. Save the ammunition. Good idea, says Amy. With that, we turn around and sprint out onto the hangar floor. Alright, next room. We're in the hangar now, that's good. The room is enormous, so large that to call it a room seems silly. A large concrete floor stretches out below an expansive lofted ceiling. The area is mostly empty, except for one side which has rows and rows of metal barrels. Back on the far wall is a lit area that seems to expose more rooms, labs, and machinery. Also, in the rear of the hangar I can see some kind of chamber or control center. Dennis and I follow Amy across the hangar floor. Behind us, a series of rough slithering sounds tells us that the creatures have made their way into the hangar. From somewhere up ahead, a loud buzzing noise sounds out again. God. Freaking bumblebees, I swear. It reminds me of the slight buzzing noise I'd heard in the forest. The noise that got me into all this trouble in the first place. I look ahead and see that in the far back of the hangar, a bright red light is flashing. There's a small hatch or door below the light. That hatch is open and I can see a shape inside it. I can barely make out the figure of a man standing there, holding an industrial microphone. And as soon as I see him, I hear his huge amplified voice. It blares down over an intercom system, and he sounds pissed. "I don't know who the hell you are, but this is a government facility on lockdown and there are protocols to... Shit!" I assume the curse coincides with the exact moment he sees the creatures. They're making their way through the hangar doors. There are maybe 20 feet between us and the creatures. I act instinctively, firing twice as the handgun comes alive in my hands. One shot goes into the core of one monster, causing it to jerk backwards. Another shot slows down another. The accuracy I get with the 9mm is amazing. Amy and Dennis took the cue and start firing as well. The floor becomes littered with swirling white fluid from the wounded creatures' bodies. They are not slowing down. The alarm keeps streaking behind us, and when I turn to see if anything has changed back there, I trip over my feet. God, you freaking klutz. I hit the ground hard and in an almost comic fashion, slide several feet across the floor. From the ground I see that we have managed to turn back 4 of them, but I also see that my estimate of a dozen is off. There are at least 20 of them, their sick dim light sinister and gloomy. Their appendages seem to bind together as they come forward. My only hope of survival is that the man in the far doorway has somehow shut... The man in the far doorway can somehow shut the hangar doors. The grammar in this game is good, but at some points it's not right, but yeah. His voice comes blaring over the intercom again, broken by the booming noise of the gunfire that we were laying down. "Run here, towards the isolation chamber." I'm not sure how much time we have. I realize that I can sprint ahead of Amy and Dennis so I can hang back and give them cover. Give them cover, duh. Don't just run. I want everybody to survive, and I'll be so happy if everybody does. "Go inside where that guy is," I say. "I'll make sure we don't have any of those things right on our tails. I'll hold them back for a while." Sounds macho, but it also feels like the right thing to do. I have to at least try to give some kind of chance for escape. So as Amy and Dennis run through the doors, I blast at the next thing that I see moving. All I get for my troubles is that static-like hiss and a high-pitched whistling noise. I'm able to beat them back a bit, forcing them to scatter. Each flicker of light is a small victory. If nothing else, I'm buying Amy and Dennis time. When I'm certain there's nothing more I can do, I turn and run. I hustle, quickly catching up to Amy and Dennis, who stop and turn to provide me with cover fire. There, Amy says, pointing to the small door where the man was standing earlier. The swarm is less than 15 feet away now, so fierce that they are pushing through one another to get to us. I raise the handgun and fire, taking my time to aim. I hit one in the spiral-like part of its body. I fire again, this time taking one in the core. I place 2 more rounds into this creature, eventually causing it to move backwards. We are in the middle of the hangar floor now, with the isolation chamber ahead and the monsters behind. Beside me, Dennis also fires. The kick of the gun jolts him, probably a result of him being weakened from the blood loss. His shot lands true, though, causing a jerking stumble and a flickering of its light. "We're almost in!" Emmy yells as we get close to the door we hope will save us. Dash inside! Everybody get in! I waste no time heading for the room. I basically leap towards the door, already feeling a little more secure. I nearly shot for joy when I reached her frame, but then feel something hot seep into my back. "Roger!" Dennis yells. Fuck, what happened? The pain in my back is so immense that I barely notice the fact that I am being lifted from the floor. I look down and see that one of the creatures is using its flowing arms to grab me by my waist, its tentacles wrapping around me. It lifts me into the air as if presenting me as a trophy to its friends. I try to focus, attempting to angle my arm in a way that will allow me to aim the handgun and place a bullet in its body. But it's shaking me violently, and its body parts are appearing and disappearing in a way that makes no sense. Another oddity of its structure. I can literally do nothing more than hang there like a rag doll, hoping to be saved. As it continues to hoist me up, screeching its approval, Dennis comes back out of the room and fires off a shot. The bullet catches the monster on the underside of its core, sending it backwards and causing it to freeze for a moment. It releases me and I hit the ground, dropping my gun and again finding myself unable to breathe. Don't drop your gun, man. I feel slightly dizzy, but that fades when I see Dennis is still standing outside the door. He's firing into the beast like a madman and doesn't see the one to his left, coming in along the edge of the wall. Dennis, look out. Don't push him out of the way, you don't want to get hurt too. Hearing my voice, he turns to look directly at me, but this is the opposite of what he needs to do. Fuck. Behind him, the creature glides up, shaking back and forth in space as it moves. By the time Dennis turns and sees the creature coming, it has already drawn several of its appendages back to strike. Dennis tries to raise his gun, but it's knocked away by one of the tentacles. A second tentacle strikes and Dennis is spun around and thrown off balance by the attack. Dennis catches himself before falling. A third tentacle wraps around Dennis's forearm and I can see it squeeze, tightening instantly. The tip of the appendage passes clean through his hand, its blood-soaked tip poking out through his palm. Ew. Dennis's face grimaces with pain as he tries to wrench his arm free. But the creature's tentacle has his hand speared like a nail through wood. In a moment of dark clarity, I realize that I can free him with a clean shot at the monster's tentacle. But it'll likely mean blowing Dennis's hand off. "Dennis!" I yell at the creature's high-pitched static sound. "Can you get free? I have a shot. Maybe." "No!" Dennis gasps as the creature tosses him around by his hand like a puppet. "Don't shoot! I can get free!" I can't tell if he's right, but the other monsters are starting to encircle him. I need to act fast. I don't want Dennis to die. Wait for Dennis to get away. Fuck. Dennis is fighting hard, doing everything he can to bring the gun around with his good hand. He's screaming as he tries to tear his hand away, screaming in both fury and desperation. This only seems to anger the creature, which then swats Dennis with another of its tentacles, opening a deep gash across his cheek. Bitch slap. His skin peels back and his eyes go wide with shock. The creature drops him to the ground as if playing with him, and then the floor and space around Dennis seems to warp. The bottom quarter of his body seems to disappear before I realize it's been merged with the floor, and at that moment I know it's over. 3 others swarm him, surrounding what remains of his fallen body. I don't even hear Dennis scream. There's just a frenzy of the crackling, sickening wail sound. After that, there's nothing else. Fury, sorrow, and absolute rage surge through my heart. I grab my gun as the remaining beasts come towards me. They'll kill me, but I don't care. This is war, as far as I'm concerned. This is... Amy grabs me from behind and pulls me hard inside. I try fighting her off, but she's persistent. And part of my mind knows she's right. "Don't be an idiot!" she yells to me. She practically throws me through the doorway. As I fall, I hear her fire off 2 shots before slamming the door closed behind her. I watch blearily as she punches a few buttons on a control pad on the wall. This is followed by a metallic click as the door locks. We are saved in chamber. But Dennis is gone. Fuck! I'm sorry, Dennis. I didn't want to shoot your hand off. I didn't want you to get pissed at me. Hey guys, sorry to cut this video short here. For some reason, because I got Dennis killed, it did not, like, at this point in the game, it's supposed to start chapter 5, but it didn't do that, and it actually, like, just made chapter 4 become a really long chapter instead of having 5 chapters. In other words, there isn't a chapter 5 after this, so I'm splitting this video up into 2 parts. I don't know why the game does that. I don't know if it's intentional or if they just forgot to write in chapter 5 for it, but yeah, the second half of this video will be up in the next part. Thank you guys for watching.